Life is full of unexpected turns, and one of the most profound is the loss of a loved one. Mizaki Howe once compared life to a train ride, where people can only accompany us for part of the journey. When someone has to get off, we should be grateful for the time they shared with us, and if someone stays with us until the end, we are even more fortunate. Having a partner in both youth and old age is a blessing, but love doesn't always last a lifetime. Whether due to illness, accidents, or natural causes, some partners leave this world early, leaving behind a void that feels impossible to fill. The home, once vibrant with shared moments, can suddenly become empty. Life seems to lose its anchor. But no matter how heart-wrenching the pain, time waits for no one, and we must continue our journey. The deceased cannot return, and it falls upon us to find a way to heal and live well despite the loss. While this may seem like a monumental task, there is hope and wisdom to be gained from those who have walked this path before. In this video, we'll hear from 3 inspiring individuals who have faced the unimaginable, losing their spouse. They each share their personal stories and offer advice to middle-aged and elderly individuals on how to navigate life after such a devastating loss. Their lessons emphasize 3 essential refusals that are key to living a fulfilling life after losing a partner. These refusals can help turn pain into strength, ensuring that your later years remain comfortable and meaningful. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I encourage you to click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all our latest content. Your support means a lot to us. If you find value in this video, please give it a thumbs up to help spread our message. I'm also eager to hear your thoughts on today's topic. If you enjoy the content, please comment 1 below. If it doesn't resonate with you, leave a 0 instead. Your feedback is crucial, as it helps me create better videos that align with your interests. Now, let's get started. 1. Refusing to dwell in excessive grief. Losing a partner who has been by your side for most of your life is one of the deepest heartbreaks anyone can endure. The sense of emptiness can feel overwhelming, and even the presence of family or children cannot fully fill the void left behind. It is natural to grieve, but allowing grief to linger unchecked for too long can prevent you from living the life you still have ahead of you. Miss Lee, a 67-year-old woman, understands this journey all too well. At the age of 64, Miss Lee's husband passed away suddenly, leaving her feeling like a walking corpse, as she described it. Her days felt meaningless, and her nights were filled with tears and sleeplessness. The sight of their shared bed, now half empty, only deepened her sadness. She often found herself gazing at old photographs, longing for the past. Yet, amid this despair, a realization began to take root in her heart. Every time she looked at those happy moments captured in photos, she thought about how her husband would want her to live. "He wouldn't want me to waste away like this," Miss Lee told herself. Though tears could not bring him back, she began to see that continuing to live fully was a way of honoring his memory. Miss Lee slowly embraced this perspective, and over time, she took small but meaningful steps toward healing. She realized that lingering in the past would rob her of the chance to experience the beauty of the present and the hopes of the future. Letting go of grief did not mean forgetting her husband. Instead, it was a way of cherishing his memory while also caring for herself. Miss Lee's story is a reminder that healing starts with small actions. Taking care of your health is crucial. Eating well, sleeping enough, and staying physically active are not just mundane routines, but they are acts of self-love. Miss Lee began taking walks in the park, appreciating the simple joys of nature, and engaging in light exercise to maintain her physical well-being. Another step she took was nurturing her mental health by fostering connections. Loneliness can be one of the hardest aspects of losing a spouse, but finding solace in the company of friends can help ease the burden. Miss Lee often spent time talking to her close friends, reminiscing about joyful memories, and sharing her thoughts about the future. These conversations reminded her that she was not alone, and that there were still people who cared for her. Equally important is learning to enjoy solitude. Miss Lee discovered the beauty of spending quiet moments with herself, finding comfort in hobbies like reading and writing. For her, solitude became a space of reflection and growth, rather than a reminder of loss. Letting go of excessive grief is not about ignoring the pain or pretending that it doesn't exist. It is about finding a way to live with it, to let it become a part of your story without letting it define your future. Miss Lee's journey shows that while the separation of life and death is one of the most painful experiences, it is also an opportunity to rediscover yourself and build a fulfilling life in honor of the one you lost. When grief feels overwhelming, remind yourself to take it one day at a time. Allow yourself to cry and to feel the emotions, but also give yourself permission to smile again, to laugh, and to embrace the joys of life. Surround yourself with supportive people and activities that bring you peace. Remember, healing is not a linear process. It is a journey filled with ups and downs, but every step forward counts. As Miss Lee's story demonstrates, healing begins when we allow ourselves to move forward while cherishing the memories of those we've lost. But another challenge many face after losing a spouse is the temptation to depend too heavily on their children for support. In the next section, we'll delve into why over-relying on children can strain relationships and how finding independence can lead to a more fulfilling life. Stay with us to learn from Mrs. Howe's experience as she navigated this delicate balance. 2. Avoiding over-reliance on children. After the loss of a spouse, many people instinctively turn to their children for support, seeking comfort and companionship to fill the void. While this is natural, it can lead to unintended challenges. Over-reliance on children may strain family relationships and hinder personal independence. Mrs. Howe, a 65-year-old widow, experienced this firsthand and offers valuable lessons on why maintaining balance is crucial. When Mrs. Howe's husband passed away, she moved in with her daughter and son-in-law, believing it was a natural progression. After all, she had raised her children with love and dedication, and now she felt it was their turn to care for her. Initially, this arrangement seemed ideal. Her daughter welcomed her into their home, and the presence of her newborn grandson gave Mrs. Howe a sense of purpose and joy. She threw herself into the household, helping with chores and childcare, feeling like an integral part of the family. However, as time went on, cracks began to show. Mrs. Howe noticed that her daughter and son-in-law became less attentive to her needs. Financial disagreements surfaced, as her pension barely covered personal expenses, let alone contributed to the household. The couple began to assume she would manage without additional support, creating a growing sense of resentment on both sides. Adding to the strain were differences in values and lifestyles. Mrs. Howe often clashed with her daughter about spending habits and parenting styles. While her daughter believed in allowing her child to develop naturally, Mrs. Howe felt discipline was necessary from an early age. These disagreements became frequent, and the once harmonious household turned tense. Eventually, Mrs. Howe realized that her presence had become a burden. When she announced her decision to move back to her own home, her daughter expressed sadness, but also relief. It was a difficult decision, but one that ultimately allowed Mrs. Howe to regain her sense of independence. Living alone again was challenging at first. Without the daily bustle of family life, her home felt quiet and empty. But rather than dwell on the loneliness, Mrs. Howe chose to embrace this chapter of her life. She rediscovered hobbies she had set aside, such as painting and calligraphy, and joined local community groups where she met like-minded friends. Over time, her days became fulfilling and meaningful. Her experience highlights an important lesson. While children are an invaluable source of love and support, they also have their own lives, responsibilities, and struggles. Relying too heavily on them can create tension and prevent both parties from thriving. Instead, building a life that balances connection with independence allows for healthier relationships and personal growth. To maintain this balance, consider seeking support outside of your immediate family. Joining social clubs, taking up new hobbies, or volunteering in the community can provide companionship and a sense of purpose. Financial independence is equally important. Ensure that you manage your resources wisely and avoid becoming financially dependent on your children. Independence does not mean isolation. It's about finding joy in your own company while cherishing the moments you share with loved ones. By doing so, you create a harmonious dynamic where relationships can flourish without the weight of undue expectations. As Mrs. Howe's story illustrates, independence and connection can coexist to create a fulfilling life after loss. Yet for some, the fear of loneliness can drive them toward hasty decisions, such as remarrying without careful consideration. In the next section, we'll explore the risks and challenges of rashly finding a new partner through the deeply personal experience of Mrs. Fong. Stay with us to uncover her journey and the valuable insights it holds. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. 3. Avoiding rash decisions about remarriage. The loss of a spouse can leave a void that feels insurmountable, and for many, the fear of being alone becomes overwhelming. While finding a new partner may seem like a solution, rushing into a relationship after such a loss can lead to challenges that outweigh the benefits. Mrs. Fong's story illustrates the complexities and risks involved in elderly remarriage, offering cautionary insights for those considering this path. At 50, Mrs. Fong retired with dreams of traveling and enjoying her golden years alongside her husband. However, life had other plans. Her husband passed away before retirement, leaving her heartbroken and adrift. For years, Mrs. Fong grieved deeply, reluctant to leave her home or engage with others. Her son, concerned about her mental well-being, encouraged her to join activities to distract herself from the pain. Initially hesitant, Mrs. Fong eventually enrolled in a dance and poetry recitation class, hoping to find solace. It was during these classes that she met Mr. Liu, a widower who seemed kind and attentive. Their connection began innocently, sharing conversations about their shared loss and supporting each other through their grief. When Mrs. Fong injured her ankle one day, Mr. Liu went out of his way to care for her, visiting daily and helping with household chores. Touched by his kindness, Mrs. Fong started to feel a spark of hope for companionship again. 2 months later, Mr. Liu proposed marriage, citing mutual support and companionship as reasons for their union. Eager to escape the loneliness that had defined her life for years, Mrs. Fong agreed, despite her son's advice to take more time to evaluate the relationship. Initially, things went well. They shared responsibilities and enjoyed each other's company. But as time passed, cracks began to form in their seemingly perfect relationship. Conflicts arose over differing expectations and lifestyles. When Mrs. Fong planned a trip with friends, Mr. Liu objected, stating that she was neglecting her responsibilities at home. She began to feel like her role was more akin to a housekeeper than a partner. The situation worsened when Mr. Liu signed in with his child, expecting Mrs. Fong to take on the role of caregiver. When Mrs. Fong expressed her concerns, Mr. Liu dismissed them, saying, "You're not his mother, so don't interfere." This remark, coupled with the growing strain of managing a household that felt increasingly burdensome, led Mrs. Fong to reflect on the realities of her second marriage. She realized that while the idea of remarriage had promised companionship, the reality brought more challenges than she had anticipated. Ultimately, Mrs. Fong chose to file for divorce, recognizing that her happiness and peace of mind were more important than maintaining a relationship that no longer served her well-being. Looking back, she acknowledges the lessons learned. While remarriage can bring comfort, it requires careful thought and clear communication about expectations and boundaries. Her experience underscores the importance of considering both the emotional and practical implications of remarriage. Elderly relationships often involve complex dynamics, including family expectations, financial arrangements, and long-standing habits that can be difficult to reconcile. It's crucial to take time to evaluate whether a potential partner aligns with your values and goals for the future. Finding joy in solitude is a powerful alternative to rushing into a relationship. Building a fulfilling life on your own terms, pursuing hobbies, forming friendships, and nurturing personal growth can be equally rewarding. If you do choose to seek companionship, approach it with patience and a clear understanding of what you want from the relationship. 4. Embracing a fulfilled and independent life. Life after the loss of a spouse is a journey filled with both challenges and opportunities for growth. While the pain of separation can feel overwhelming, it also provides a chance to reflect, rebuild, and rediscover the joys of living independently. By refusing excessive grief, dependency on children, or rushed remarriage, you can create a life that honors your past while embracing the future. One of the most important steps toward a fulfilled life is taking care of your physical and emotional well-being. Prioritize your health by maintaining a balanced diet, exercising regularly, and seeking medical advice when needed. A healthy body provides the foundation for a vibrant life, enabling you to engage in activities that bring you joy and purpose. Equally crucial is nurturing your mental health. Seek out activities that stimulate your mind, such as reading, solving puzzles, or learning something new. Mental engagement not only keeps your mind sharp, but also adds excitement to your days. Finding new hobbies or reconnecting with old passions is another way to embrace this chapter of life. Hobbies such as gardening, painting, writing, or playing a musical instrument can provide a sense of accomplishment and peace. These activities also allow you to express yourself creatively, helping you process emotions in a positive way. Additionally, joining local clubs or groups that align with your interests can open doors to new friendships and meaningful connections. Social interaction is key to combating loneliness. While it's natural to miss the companionship of your spouse, building relationships with friends, neighbors, or community members can fill the social void. Consider attending social events, volunteering, or participating in group activities that match your interests. Surrounding yourself with positive and supportive people can help you feel connected and valued. Spiritual growth is another path to fulfillment. Whether through religious practices, meditation, or simply spending time in nature, finding a deeper connection to your inner self can provide a sense of peace and purpose. Reflecting on the lessons life has taught you and embracing gratitude for the moments you've experienced can foster a mindset of resilience and positivity. Financial independence is also vital for a fulfilling life. Take time to evaluate your financial situation and create a plan that ensures stability and comfort. If necessary, consult with a financial advisor to manage your resources effectively. Feeling secure in your finances allows you to focus on the things that truly matter without unnecessary stress. Lastly, embrace the idea that loneliness can be a teacher rather than an enemy. Solitude offers a unique opportunity to deepen your understanding of yourself, your values, and your desires for the future. By reframing loneliness as a chance to grow, you can turn what once felt like a challenge into a source of strength and inspiration. As you navigate this journey, remember that life is what you make of it. Every decision you make, from prioritizing your health to cultivating new relationships, shapes the quality of your days. By taking active steps to build a life filled with meaning, you can transform loss into an opportunity for renewal and joy. The loss of a spouse is undoubtedly one of life's most difficult experiences, but it doesn't have to define the rest of your journey. By refusing to let grief, dependence, or rushed decisions control your life, you open the door to a future filled with possibility. Cherish the memories of your loved one while embracing the present and looking forward to the future. Life may not look the same, but it can still be rich, meaningful, and full of beauty. This marks the conclusion of the lessons we've explored, but the journey toward fulfillment continues. Take these insights as tools to build a life that reflects your strength, resilience, and boundless potential. The road ahead may not always be easy, but it is one worth traveling. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might benefit from this topic. Have any thoughts or personal experiences to share? Drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you haven't already, click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to join our community for more empowering content. Thank you for watching, and until next time, embrace the journey with confidence.